everybody, that Halfbread here with a new series that I'm trying to start here where we're doing a series of interviews where I feel like Nationals is coming up really soon. We've only got like 2.5, 3 weeks until Nationals is coming up. And everybody's been talking about, what's the best deck, what deck should people could play, what deck is going to take the most percentage. But I feel like people should also be talking about the players because there's so many good players that we have out there already with a list of accomplishments to their name, and I'd love to learn more about them myself and also tell you more about them so that when we learn who is going to be representing us on the world stage, we also know a little bit more about them because I think there's a bunch of interesting stories and interesting people to watch when Nationals comes around. So first people I was able to get for this wonderful series of interviews is Holden Miller, also known as the Flyest Raven, who sort of popped on my map and a lot of other people's maps when he got a first place and a second place with Queen. It was like 2 weekends apart, right next to each other, really close. So that was something almost like single-handedly put Queen on the map. Everyone was like, oh, maybe Queen is a deck I should play. And I, of course, also know you a little bit from Flyest Raven as like a real Discord and online grinder. I've seen your name at the top of the Sim online ranked leaderboard a whole bunch. I happened to run into you playing randomly on the One Piece TCG Discord server before, the ranked Sim even came out. So it seems like you play a lot of games. So everybody, welcome Holden Miller.
Appreciate it. Happy to be here. And yeah, I generally play a lot. Yeah.
So yeah, so first question I wanted to ask you is, how long have you been playing card games like as a whole? Is One Piece your first card game, or was there stuff that you played before?
The only card game I played before One Piece was Yu-Gi-Oh! But I never really went to regionals. I only played at locals. So.
And I mean, do you have a day job at all? Are you still a student? Or are you like part-time One Piece, part-time something else?
I don't anymore at the moment. So right now it's like I'm just grinding for nets. Really, there's nothing else to occupy my time.
Nice. I mean, it's coming up pretty fast. But yeah, I also want to talk a little bit more, of course, about your previous tournaments. So these two huge wins with Queen that you had, a first and a second, like so close together. The thing that was interesting to me was when I checked your history before that, you had an 8th place with Zoro. So are you just sort of like, do you play a lot of decks? Was there a reason that you really liked Queen? Do you still kind of like it, or was that a kind of like just a 1 month, 2 weekends type of deck?
Well, I started off with Blue Dofi in set 1.
Oh, okay.
And then I did that in set 2 as well. And didn't get any big tops, obviously. I didn't play in a bunch of events, but so that was fun. And then I tried to do that in set 3. But I was just struggling against Katakuri too much to justify it, and I decided Zoro was OP. I played Zoro, and then that's pretty much all I did. Like for set 3, I took a break after that one tournament because I just wasn't interested in the format. And I was just grinding set 4 on the sim since then. And I was like, out of all these decks, I like blue. Queen seems to be the most my style. So I grinded it a lot, looked up some lists, made adjustments, and it was a lot of fun. And was able to do all that. And then after that, I did get kind of tired of Queen after those 2 tournaments. Like I took it the in-person in Fort Worth.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even want to take it there, but I was like, I guess I just have to now. But I was like, I was really bored of Queen after all that.
I mean, there's a lot of long games you have to play with that deck for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they don't usually take that long, but it is a lot of turns. But the turns should generally go by fast, thankfully. But yeah, so after like a month, actually it was more like 2 to 3 months of grinding with Queen. I was quite bored of it. I'm gonna give it another shot next set, but I'm happy to be done with the deck for this set and just take a break from it.
Oh, in set 6?
Yeah, in set 6. I'll give it another shot. Not sure if it's what I'll play, but I gotta give it a shot for testing wise with the Sanji and the new events and everything.
I mean, what would you say is like your personal favorite deck you've ever played? Is it Queen, or now that you've like played it so much and you're tired of it, it's something else?
Oh, it's not Queen, no. It's actually Sakazuki. I
Oh,
know it's the
really?
meta. It's the meta, and everyone like doesn't like it because it's meta or whatever. But
Hmm.
like, I mean, this is the deck I've been ever since they announced black as a color in set one.
Hmm.
I was like, as a blue player, I was immediately just like, damn, if I could reduce cost with black for my
Yeah.
Mihawks, I'm gonna be so happy. So I've actually just been waiting for this deck because I wanted Rebecca to be that, but Rebecca
Yeah.
was not that. So it's actually Sokka, and then after Sokka, it's Dofi because Dofi is cool. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
Sokka is like just my deck. So I
yeah,
mean, it's
everyone of
meta.
course
So.
loves to hate on what's considered the best deck, so you know. But it's interesting that you really enjoy playing it a bunch, even with, I assume, how many mirrors you play. Is like the mirror something you still enjoy with the deck even?
Yeah, I enjoy Muse. I don't enjoy Muse in general. That's actually the main reason I chose Blue initially because I didn't want to
Hmm.
play Kid Muse. I enjoyed Kid as a deck, but I just didn't want to play the Mirror all day.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
the Sokka Mirror I do actually enjoy, which is surprising to me. But I find it while there is you can just get sacked by cards
Hmm.
sometimes because it's a card game. It is pretty skill intensive, which I enjoy.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there any like spice card or tech or little nugget about the mirror you're willing to share with us? Or is it just
Uh,
like 10
I
drop
mean, I
Kaido
don't.
and Kuzan?
I mean, I don't really care if people know. I guess like people who know me know I've been
Hmm.
instead of the 3-drop blue Hina, I play the Dofi blocker that skies.
Oh, that's
But
interesting. So
that's
you
about
always
it.
know what you're gonna draw with your discard draw card?
Well, yeah, when you play it, you get that info and get knowledge, get to dig deeper if you don't want those cards on top for what you're looking for in the certain matchup.
That's definitely a nice plan for all the big brain players that I can actually keep track. To be like, I know it's a little like talking down on myself, but one of the biggest reasons that I didn't want to play Dofi and like put Dofi off of my list of like tournament decks I'd be willing to play is when they announced that you're not allowed to take notes for the One Piece card game. I was like, dude, I don't know if
Yeah,
I can always keep track. Like, knowing my brain, I'm gonna forget what I put on top.
yeah. I don't have the best memory, so I would play Law if I could remember every little detail about what I bottom decked and everything.
Oh,
Like
gotcha. Yeah,
if I
yeah,
could just straight up remember every like I would. Well, and I would have in the past tense, I should say.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, so next question I got here is: do you have any like single card that you would say like is a pet card of yours that you know you collect or keep special?
I mean, I collect blue in general.
Okay.
But I mean, that 3-drop Dofi blocker and the Mihawk are two favorites from set one because they were originals and the artwork from the alt arts looks insane.
Hell
I
yeah,
like
that's awesome.
so.
Do you have any like I guess that I'm still trying to find out what's a good term for the opposite of a pet card. Do you have any like enemy cards or villain cards that you're really like, man, I didn't print this, or man, I'm crossing my fingers they ban it, or you know, I just wish it didn't exist so it wouldn't have to get played against me even if it doesn't get banned?
I think a common one is Big Mom.
Just 10 drop Big Mom.
If you don't play yellow, you just hate that card. So uh,
uh, yeah, that's fair. And what's your practice for nationals been like? Obviously, like you've been grinding what is sometimes a crazy amount of games, like you and some other people. There was one season of the sim where I looked, and you had played something like over 100 games a week, like almost 200 games in 2 weeks, something crazy. So you know, how do
yeah, I
you?
mean that
Is it
that's
easy to
standard.
motivate yourself to just play all those games, or?
It's kind of just like an unhealthy addiction. So I kind of have to try and convince myself not to play the games. Like
Okay.
I took a break because I felt like I was playing too many
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
recently. So like I started playing some Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel just to go back and take a break because I was like, I'm just playing too much and I'm losing my mental. It's not, at some point, I think you can play too many games, and I think I reached that point
Yeah,
sometimes.
no, that's totally fair. And I mean, you've been playing a lot of games, but what's your feeling on the ranked sim overall? Does it matter to you that it's like on a Discord versus on the real sim? Do you think it provides like better testing? Any thoughts on the like the ranked sims in general?
I mean, if I think it'd be better if ranked was on like the actual sim itself, but
Hmm.
I know why Batsu has said that that's a lot more of an investment that he can do right now without a lot of money, so that's understandable. The rank sim on Discords and stuff, it's cool. It's better than randoms on sim for
Yeah.
sure. Um, I don't put that much merit into it still, but I I haven't played as many games in the new season because I played that many games because I was taking a break from locals for the week for like the holidays.
Hmm.
Like while I was chilling, I could just play. But
Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
still play a good amount, but I just don't grind it as much. I don't think it doesn't matter that much to me. But it's definitely better than random games on Sim when you can't get good testing from private matches with people you know.
Yeah, are people pulling up with like the starter decks, no changes or something?
Yeah.
I mean, do you have any? What's your like in-person testing group? Do you have? Do you just test with your locals, or are you mainly like a online only grinder?
Well, before like this month, it was just been like online and whenever I go to locals.
Hmm.
But my local group is we're doing testing like in person once a week now, I guess, which is cool. So
That's awesome. Yeah, always nice to get more paper games in. Odd question, but I don't know. If obviously you mentioned about OPO6, you're willing to try Queen, but it looks like Worlds is going to be OPO6. Any idea of what deck you'd play if you made it to Worlds in O6?
no. I heard. I'm not sure if it is OC. I think Impact Joshua Graham, if you know him.
Mm-hmm.
I think he said World is actually 5.5 with it's just five with the Uda starter deck.
Okay.
If that's the case, I'll just play Sokka. If it is
Yeah.
O6, I have so much testing to do that I could not tell you.
Yeah. Because I mean, that's the thing I was kind of going to ask you. I mean, how do you feel about the like difference between the Japanese and the English format, especially with the idea of like Worlds coming soon? Do you How do you feel about that like 3 month extra testing they have? Would you prefer like some last minute format change to Worlds to put people on equal footing, or do you think it doesn't matter that much?
Nah, I think we have the same ban list finally. At least I think just keep it that way. Then whatever card set. I do think it would be better if it was 5.5, just because they've had a lot of time for set six that we haven't. Because we don't even have time to test set six yet because we're all preparing for Nats.
Yeah.
So I think 5.5 would be better. But I don't have any like format changes that I think they should do per se.
Gotcha. Do you have any people that you're going to Nats with? Do you have like people you're sharing a room with, or you got plans to mostly go solo?
Oh yeah, I think definitely. I'm sharing a room with people. I don't really know them personally, but it's too expensive to just go by yourself, I think.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
gotta share room costs with people.
Yeah. So then another question that I had here is, if there's like, I guess it's two questions. Like, what is your like favorite part about the One Piece TCG? What's something that you really love about it? And then after that, if there's one thing that you really don't like about the One Piece TCG that you would change, what would it be? So maybe the good part first, and then like your complaints about it after.
Um, I like the resource management in this game a lot. And coming from Yu-Gi-Oh, is like this was a big change. And having like the life factor is interesting. Whenever you take damage, you get a card and resources, and you're not just dead in one turn and all that. And it's like I like that a lot in the Dawn system. Um, because it just feels like it gives you a lot of room to outplay your opponent,
Hmm.
even no matter what deck you're on or what cards you see. Um, if you both open somewhat evenly, the better player will win most of the time. And then the bad things, triggers shouldn't be a thing. I'm
Oh.
very tired of losing to random triggers. And that's not even just to hate on yellow. It's every color of triggers shouldn't be a thing. But
Even your own queen deck that was so stock full of triggers, you'd be fine if that whole thing just got deleted.
Yeah, I mean, I won so many games because of lucky triggers, but like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's like it should come down to skill, not I hit a beige, I hit a thunderbolt, and like I said, every color. Like I think yellow manipulating life is cool, but
Hmm.
like it should have to do more with manipulating life, not just getting lucky off triggers or manipulating triggers even. Just I shouldn't be scared to kill you. I don't think
Yeah.
like
Yeah, it's one of those things that I definitely know is like a tough balance for game designers because you want like a little bit of a luck aspect to the game to help newer players, which is I think one of the reasons why yellow is such a favorite of newer players. But you don't want it to be so luck heavy that it just feels like you're flipping a coin or whatever, right? So that balance can sometimes be tough. Because I feel like as people who grind a lot of games, we sometimes forget like the newer player experience of like, oh my god, I got a trigger, I won, woo! But of course, there's the other person on that side who's like, oh my god, I just lost, you know?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I understand that. I don't know. I'm just a competitive person in
Hmm.
general, so I come from the perspective if I'm new and I'm losing because I'm new and I'm bad, then I either need to accept that I'm gonna lose because I'm new and bad, or I need to
Hmm.
get better. So that's how I look at it. I don't know
No,
if
no, I
it's
like
like
that way of looking at it for sure. I feel like that's a lot of times what I try and teach people, but I think it's difficult for some people to understand. You know,
yeah.
there's like they want the quick hit dopamine, I guess, of like, oh, I got the win now, you know, rather than I worked, you know,
Yeah,
whatever
and I
number of
understand
games
not
for it.
everyone has all the time that like I have to get
Yeah.
better, right? So like I understand like not everyone can just play this game, you know? But
No, but I mean, the fact that you have the time or you put in the time is one of the reasons that I wanted to talk to you because, you know, I looked at the leaderboard and I was like, that's so many games. Even if you're somehow like winning every game in 10 minutes, which feels hard to believe with Sakazuki, how much Sakazuki everyone's playing, then it's still that's still a good chunk of hours. But you know that's why I started this series because I feel like there's some people, you know, when people talk about who's gonna win Nats, there's a couple of names that always pop into my head, and you're definitely one of them. But I wanted to ask you. Obviously, I think that you know your grinding pays off a lot. But if you do win Nats, like what part or aspect of yourself do you think you would attribute that to? Is it like your ability to grind, or is it something else? Your ability to like think through these turns, remember your queen stacking, stuff like that, you know?
I'm not sure if this is the right answer per se, but
Hmm.
I think whoever win Nats just has to attribute it to luck. Like it don't matter how good you are,
Really?
you're gonna have to get lucky to win Nats, no matter how
Sure,
good you
but I
are.
mean it's not just luck,
Obviously,
right?
no, a good play. You're not gonna win Nats and be a bad player,
Yes.
obviously, but it is like if you go undefeated and just win out at Nats, you definitely got pretty lucky.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
at
Well, I
least in
guess
one or two
I
games,
guess I
at least.
can. Yeah,
But
of course, there's some aspect of luck, but maybe I can phrase the question differently in terms of like,
yeah,
is there anything about the game that you feel like you do better or understand better than like people you play against or other players?
I mean, I think when it comes to the average player, just understanding these and how much and 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 board state, I guess, is the main thing.
Hmm.
When it comes, like, I don't think I'm a top tier player though compared to like the top. Like, I'd say like there's the 1%, and then like I'm maybe like the 5%. Like,
Really?
yeah, I think I definitely mess up a lot, and I think there's a lot of improvement
Hmm.
compared to the actual top 1% of players.
I mean, who's some other top 1% people you think? I mean, hopefully, so some of them I'm going to try and get on. I've talked to a couple of people already of who I'm going to talk to next, but I mean, I'd love to see who you consider maybe like some of the top 1% as well. I
I
mean,
mean,
personally, I think you're in the top 1%, but you know, it's a different story. Anyway.
um, I mean, I think everyone wouldn't be surprised when I said like Cross,
Hmm.
Will, Impact, Jackson, Wong.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, Just those names that you can like. I didn't play in as many tournaments as them, so I
Hmm.
can't say I had as many chances to try to put myself in that name.
Yeah, yeah,
But with the amount of tournaments that they've topped in, it's like they're definitely the top percent. And after playing against them, sometimes too, it's like sometimes I do well, and then sometimes I'm just like, damn, I really messed this up, and they just destroyed me.
yeah.
So
Well,
it's
I
like,
mean, I feel like that's something, I don't know, at least me personally, something I do factor in with, how I rate players is that, it's not always easy to get into tournaments too, because I feel like there's a lot of players that are really good right now that don't have the opportunity to show themselves just because some tournaments are just too hard to get into if you don't have the correct schedule or ability to be there frame one when the tournament signups come out, you know?
yeah. I mean, I've played in. I've always been able to get into at least one, usually two online events
Hmm.
per set. Um, well, per, but I don't travel to for money reasons to all the
Yeah.
in-person events like they do. You
Hmm.
know, like that's too much commitment for me right now.
No, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. But yeah, you know, that's basically the end of my questions so far. Was there anything else, you wanted to talk about in terms of Nats? Obviously, or I guess one thing I wanted to ask if there's obviously the big four that everybody talks about in Katakuri, Purple Luffy, Enel, and Sakazuki, but I don't know. If there were any deck outside of those four to make it into the top 32, what do you think it would be?
Mm, if I had to bet, I would say Zoro. Um,
Okay.
I think Law and Whitebeard could also in a similar boat, but I would lean more towards Zoro out of those. Um, just because Zoro is actually like, if you can avoid it now, it's actually pretty decent this format.
Even with all
Um,
the four drop Rob Lucci's running around.
I mean, those can be annoying for Zoro for sure, but you just play Rush and go aggro and play Jambes and call it a day.
Good old
Uh,
Jambe.
um, and the reason I say Zoro over Whitebeard is because Whitebeard's kind of similar to Zoro in that its only bad matchup is Anel. Well,
Hmm.
also Whitebeard also struggles in the Poofy a little bit, I guess, but I haven't actually tested that. But that's what everyone says. But Zoro actually, I do think Zoro has not great chances, but better chances than Whitebeard to beat Anel. So I just think, and then I also think Zoro has better chances to beat Anel than Law does to beat Sokka.
All right.
So I think that's why I would probably go with Zoro out of those.
Okay, I guess I have a spicy question as well in terms of like, how do you? What are your like ban opinions? Are you pro ban, anti ban? Do you think if Sakazuki does like really well at Nats, they should ban something before Worlds, or are you just more of a let it chill
Uh,
and let the format play out type of person?
I think coming from Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm actually like I'm all for bans
Mm-hmm.
as long as they come in at like the right times. I don't think they should ban anything before Worlds at this point.
Yeah.
I think they should wait till after Worlds at this point in the format. Um, but I'm all for bans in general, as long as they're not like the worst time bans ever, like the bans that happened in Set 4 that just made zero sense for them to do at so randomly.
Hey, I'll have you know, those bans helped me win my cereal because I was finally able to play Green Kid without losing to all the red decks.
Hey,
Was finally able to play a green deck because of the bans for a fraction of a second.
yeah, I mean the bans were good. It's just the timing was weird. That's all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I mean, how do you feel about the longevity of One Piece as a game as a whole? The markets have kind of been exploding in terms of price, but I don't know. Do you think this is a game that can stick around, or are you just here for Nats and Worlds, and then who knows?
I'm not going to be here for a while, but we'll see. I think it has probably at least 5 years,
Hmm.
but I'm not the best at like guessing that because the only game I've played before this is Yu-Gi-Oh, and
Yeah.
we all know how long that's been around. But I mean, based on what I've heard and seen from all the other Bandai games, and considering how big One Piece as a franchise is in general, it has to have at least 5 years. I'd imagine. I'd be surprised if it died before then.
Nice. I mean, I certainly hope we get to see, 5 years worth more tournaments from you and stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's always been fun to play against you, and I certainly remember spectating those two tournaments where you did so well with Queen and really,
Yeah.
really enjoying them, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you. But I really
It's so
appreciate you
sad of
coming
me.
on and talking to me about this card game a little bit. And certainly, I'm crossing all my fingers that you and all the people you mentioned in the top 1% can do well at nationals. Because man, I'm so excited to watch it, and I hope it does well, and we can get North America to have a good showing at Worlds.
Yeah, I'd definitely love to go to Worlds. It'd be really cool to go to Japan.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I think that's every like anime fan's dream, to go to Japan someday, right?
yeah, I guess.
Well,
More
I
so
guess
just to
I
go to
guess I
Japan,
should
but
ask: were you a Yu-Gi-Oh like card game player? Did you actually watch the show, or did you mostly just play the card game?
but for Yu-Gi-Oh,
Yeah.
uh, mostly just played the card game. I watched like the original, like, uh, series. I think I watched 2GX. I don't know if I've ever seen the ending of either of them though. But like I've seen like the first few seasons of
Yeah,
GX
for
and
sure.
the original.
Are are you a One Piece watcher as well, or
Yeah, I
reader?
don't read the manga anymore, but I do. I'm caught up on the anime itself.
Nice.
I'm actually in the middle of the newest episode, I suppose. So I'm not quite caught up, but I'm, you know.
Well, I'll certainly I'll let you get back to that episode, because it's a banger as far as I'm aware. Plenty of gorgeous new art style. The new intro's really, really nice
Yeah,
too.
the intro was cool.
That was really nice. But yeah, man, I mean, a little shorter than maybe that I expected, but it was still really, really nice talking to you, and I appreciate you stopping by. I'm gonna try and keep this series going, and if you ever if you ever need any more testing, not saying I'm as good as the 1%ers, but you can certainly always find me on stream and stuff like that. But thanks for coming again. Holden Miller, everybody, Flyest Raven. I don't know. Do you have any social media or anything you want to promote about yourself, or I mean, maybe
Not really,
you'd
no.
rather not people know too much, I guess, right?
Yeah, I don't really use social media and all that, so not really.
All right. But yeah, thanks again for stopping by, and I hope you guys will tune in to the next Road to Nationals player highlights interview. Thanks so much, man.
Appreciate it.
All right, peace out, everybody.